before we do that, we should introduce ourselves.
We probably should.
We should. Why are you pushing? Stop pushing us, Matt.
I guess I wasn't on the camera.
You're fine. You're fine. But now our chairs are on top of each other, so now we're going to keep doing this maneuver.
I'll move over.
All right.
I'll lower my arms. Okay, we're good.
Who are you, Keith?
I'm Keith.
Nailed
you
it.
We must go.
Nailed it. Our names are right there, to be fair.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
introductions have been nailed. All right, we'll move on. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I think we did the welcome. I think we nailed that. We're going to go over very quickly the roadmap, which Keith put out, I don't even know. It feels like months ago at this point. I don't know when that was. We're going to go over briefly the stuff that was in the roadmap, but you mostly already know what that was. But in case you haven't been following SWTOR, we want to make sure you get that information. We're going to go through some of the basic bullets of what's coming in Jedi Under Siege. We're going to walk you through all of it. So the bullets that Keith had in the roadmap, we're going to take you in detail through all of it. We're going to take a story update. We're going to go through a spoiler-free version of some of the story stuff you can expect that's going to happen.
You can get sucked into the chat real easy.
I've noticed that. Keith's just staring aimlessly at chat. We'll go through the story of what's coming. We're going to talk about when all this is happening, so when it's going to be on PTS, when you'll actually be able to play it, and then we'll wrap this up. We have one big giveaway to happen at the end, and then we're going to host SWTOR Central afterwards, so please stay tuned after the stream. The stream is probably going to take over an hour because there is a crazy amount of information we need to cover. So just be aware of that. Two disclaimers. One, if you can't hear it, I'm super sick. So if my voice starts vanishing, I apologize. I'm just going to keep slamming water and talking. Two, we're streaming in a different room than we normally do. We tested the connection for the last hours, and occasionally it'll dip. So let us know if for some reason you can't hear us because the connection cuts out and gets back in, and so we can just repeat what we said before. That's it.
That sounds easy enough.
Oh, also, we should talk about our shirts.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, there's a good place. Look, here's the segue. So
there it is.
We had a lot of questions about, since this is a replacement for the Cantina, is there going to be a Cantina item? The answer is yes. There's your Cantina item. So if I remember correctly, and someone who can read Arabic can correct me if I'm wrong, it says Cantina New York 18, and that is what the actual in-game flare says. And then this is the one that's below it is what will actually appear next to your character's frame. So all the directions are right there on the side. It's a new in-game flare. Just go redeem the code SWCantina 2018. Should be pretty easy to remember. That code will work until the end of the year, and literally anyone can go redeem it. You can go redeem it right now. It works right now. We tested it like 30 minutes before we came on stream.
It'll be on there. Somebody was asking about master mode.
We'll get the guys.
I know, but I'm just telling
everybody,
you so it doesn't panic.
Everybody needs to calm down. Calm down. We got probably a 90-minute stream. We'll get to all of it, I promise. And also, we're going to do our best to grab questions out of chat as we're going through stuff. But for real, we literally have a huge amount of information that we're going to cover. So most likely we will cover your question anyway and the stuff that we're going to talk about, but we'll still try to grab more questions out. So just be aware.
And after I leave, I'll go on chat. Right,
yeah.
So I'll try to answer any questions from behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's the dream. Keith's going to tell you stuff you shouldn't know. Because that's what Keith does. So just be aware of that. Anyway, free flare. Please go redeem it right now. We'll remind you about what the code is at the end of the stream as well. So don't forget that. Okay, Keith, let's talk a little bit about what we've done this summer. Because this summer was a big deal, right? Like one of the things that we really wanted to try to do, you really wanted to try to do with the team, was really hit PvP. And I think we did that. We had a summer of PvP. So we had the new Rishi Stronghold, which had players could basically make their own war zones, make their own arenas, run their own tournaments. And we've seen some really great stuff happen from some of our streamers running PvP tournaments and that kind of stuff. So that's been really awesome.
Well, we really wanted to give everybody the opportunity to have their own environment.
Right.
So that was our first attempt at doing it. From the feedback we got throughout the summer, we made a lot of changes.
Yep.
I think we ended up with something pretty nice.
Yeah. New arena, Mandalorian-inspired battle ring, PvP improvements. That's some of what Keith talked about. We made changes to matchmaking and all kinds of other stuff that was covered there. And we actually finally ended Season 9. We know that was long overdue, but we reached the end of Season 9, and we have now eclipsed into Season 10. Also, look at there you go. So look, Emily's putting the flare code. Yeah, so people will probably ask throughout the entire stream what the flare code is. Please feel free to put it in chat, because that will be helpful for the people that are asking. So, hey, who's handling SWTOR right now? Where's Charlie McBeardy Pants? Charlie McBeardy Pants is right there. Man.
He'll be on soon.
I'm too tired and sick. This is going to be a really awesome stream. Okay, and then we just released last week, right?
The
593 Fame and Fortune, where we put out a new Hubble map on Vanden, which those of you, Vanden was from chapter
14.
Chapter 14?
No, 13.
13 of Code Fee?
14 was Darkness.
Okay, chapter 13 of Code Fee. So you got to go back there and actually play Hubble there, which was really awesome. So
The Sky Shredder.
The Sky Shredder is correct. So that was a new Hubble map. So lots of PvP stuff happened throughout the entirety of the fall. Again, this doesn't in any way mean that we're not doing PvP ever again. We just really wanted to make sure we spend some time getting to PvP for you guys. So, all right. So, why all of you are here is to hear about what's coming in 5.10 Jedi Under Siege later this year. And so this is kind of just honestly a blueprint of what we're going to talk about through the rest of the stream. So please just assure us that there is new PvE content in all caps in chat. Well, I have great news because PvE content, PvE content, PvE content, PvE content, PvE content. So every bullet on this list is PvE content. So you're good. You're covered. So we're going to talk about Nightmare Mode, Gods from the Machine. I put Nightmare. I did it. We were joking about whether I would mess up and put Nightmare. It's Master Mode. It's Master Mode in the other place. Knew I'd do it once.
I like Nightmare better.
Let's go. Anyway, Master Mode, God from the Machines. We're going to talk about Master Mode, Gods from the Machine. We're going to talk about Masterwork armor. It's the thing we talked about as Tier 5. We're going to explain how you get it. It's not just crafting, but crafting's included. We'll get to that so we can kind of appease some of your concerns that you have there. Guild improvements. We listed some of those out on what's coming in the roadmap, but don't worry, we'll get into some details more on that later. The new planet and daily area. So there was a lot of guessing around what the new planet was going to be, and we wouldn't tell you. And so we'll get to that later in the stream, though.
Yeah, but we probably should tell them.
But Keith, we planned this that we were probably going to.
But then they'd have to wait a couple months for them to know.
A couple months now? They just have to wait like a half an hour.
Should we tell you what it is?
So you don't want to wait later in the stream where we planned it?
No, because I'm going to not be here. Rather than
that's right.
I like telling them all the things that they're not supposed to tell.
Go for it, Keith. What is the new planet?
I forget. I'm kidding. I know what it is. Yeah, Dartuni. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, it starts with an O, though.
It starts with an O.
I think it has two S's.
Two S's.
It actually has three S's.
Actually,
It has three S's.
Yeah. Right. So what do you guys think it might be?
Yeah,
I like it, right? This is a good one.
There you go. Yeah, there's cursing in chat now, Keith. So I think you probably there's definitely some correct guesses.
Yeah, that's it. Learn how to spell, Keith. That's it. Ossus. Right.
Right.
It is Ossus.
Ossus is the new planet.
That is the new planet.
And so
I know you're supposed to talk about it later, but I want to talk about it now.
That's how we roll here. So that's why I'm saying Keith being in chat is exactly what you want. Because then Keith does things like this. He just tells you.
Then you can ask me anything, and I can tell you. I can pretend I must go.
That's
right?
true.
And then you realize he's standing there or sitting here. So, anyways,
it works out great. Anyway, so Ossus is going to be the new planet. We're going to talk about that in the daily area a little bit later. The new storyline that you're going to go through on Ossus. We have all kinds of details about that. About kind of a general overview of what the story is, who the new characters are, some returning characters you're going to go through. We're going to tell you about a bunch of those, and then we have some companion returns, which they're literally listed for you.
But
right
where's
there.
Kira?
Keith, this guy.
I saw that like 8 times.
I'm sure you did, right? Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Right?
I'm sure Charles would be happy to talk about where Kira is.
Put Charles on the spot.
Yep.
Hey, Charles.
And
She's
just
still coming, just not in this update.
There
You got Doc. You got Doc.
Yep, and
Jedi
also
Knight's getting their thing.
And the nice thing is, you may notice that there is no differentiation between Dark or Light Side Jason because they're both coming back. So, but we'll talk more about that later. I don't want to get too far ahead of
Are
ourselves.
we really going to do that?
Yeah, we are.
I thought we were just teasing, not going to actually bring down lights up. Right? We're actually going to do that?
Yeah.
God, they're doing stuff that I didn't say that they could do.
But we're doing more than we told you we were going to do.
that's
So that's usually good. Anyway, that's Keith. Do you have anything else for the people before we send you to chat to go tell them things you shouldn't tell them?
I didn't want to go to chat so I can tell them everything, right?
We want Kai Zyken, Me Too Prophet.
Yeah,
too.
we should do that.
Can I point out, by the way, because I have to say, since we brought up Kai Zyken, that people always talk about that there's going to be a drinking game when we do streams. One, how many times I say yup, how long it takes me to bring up Kai Zyken. And this is a Cantina live stream, and no one talked about doing a drinking game. Like, that's the one place the drinking should be happening. If we weren't at work, we'd be drinking. But we're at work. Matt says we should be drinking. But we'll get to that.
I don't drink.
I know, you don't drink. That's true.
Right,
That's true.
so
I shouldn't probably drink mixing it with cold and flu medicine either.
That's very true. So is there one question you want to ask me while I'm on stream that you haven't asked me? We'll see if we can pick something out.
Okay.
I'm not going to answer that one. I don't want to answer that one either.
I like to say that as if they know what they don't know. Oh my God. Okay, this is a good question. Calix has asked, "Can I romance Kemval? I'd die for him." Do you know the answer to that question?
Yes.
You do know the answer to that question?
I do.
What is the answer? I think it's. Should we let Chuck? What is the answer to that question?
Yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. You can romance Kemval. We actually have some other.
I'm not sure why you want to, but yes, you can.
We actually have some very other interesting tidbits around the companions, but we'll get to those later. Keith can't literally tell you everything, otherwise he'll just be sitting here for 90 minutes.
Just telling me everything. Just ask. Right. Remember, I'm going to go to the chat.
Yep.
Right, and if you have any questions you want to ask me, just ask. I will do the best I can. I can't answer everything because then Charles won't have anything to say.
Yep. And Keith is a responsible adult, so we're pulling him out of meetings to do this. So don't be surprised if he's not in chat the whole time because he probably has meetings to run to as well.
Probably true too.
Yep.
So, anyways, guys, good to see you, and I'll be in chat. We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you, Keith.
All right.
All right, Matt. Oh wait, hang on. I got to change the name card.
Yeah.
You need your phone? There you go. Matt, here we go. Musco and Matt. I put Matty. I'll put it to Matt. Okay. Here we go.
Who's Matt?
Matt. Oh, Matt.
Can I interest you in some blueberry pretzels?
No, I don't want a blueberry pretzel. Thank you.
How about an irresponsible amount of trail mix?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Matt.
Okay.
I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna drink some water though.
Oh, would you 16.9 fluid ounces of natural spring water?
Man, everyone's saying hi to Matt, and Matt's just trying to bribe. So someone brought in food for us because it was left over from a different meeting, and we're like, well, we're gonna be on stream. We won't need food, but apparently Matt disagrees. Matt, please tell the people who you are.
Oh,
This is Matt.
I have to talk.
Yeah, this is Matt Pusevich. Pusevich?
Sure.
I like how you say sure, as if that's not the correct way to pronounce your name, but you're like, just roll with it. Matt Pusevich. Is that right?
Okay.
God, man. Anyway, it's Matt who does our operations design, which is what Matt is here to talk about today. Master Mode Gods from the Machine.
Wait. We're not doing Master Mode.
Joke's on you, Matt. We're doing Master Mode. And we'll get to that.
Contrary to earlier.
And we'll get to that. That's right. Contrary to proper, which I don't know if you knew that you were doing all that work, by the way. Hope you were. Hope someone had told you that prior right now. This just got uncomfortable, because Matt just found that out today. Okay, so first and foremost, Matt, if we're going to be introducing Master Mode,
yes,
are we going to help out the people that are stuck on Veteran Mode?
Yeah. Now that we're putting out a Master Mode for this operation, Veteran Mode no longer needs to pull double duty.
Right.
And since we already have an operation that is balanced a gear tier higher than all the other operations. So Veteran Mode, it is no longer appropriate for the Veteran Mode to be the hard mare that it was. So we are going to be dialing back the difficulty on Veteran Mode to pull it more in line with an actual veteran target. Some encounters change more than others, but all of them have changed a fair amount, if not in just the numbers.
Yep. And when we get to PTS, which we'll get to that topic very shortly, we'll let you know all the changes that are coming for veterans.
Yeah, when PTS comes up, I'm going to try to put a post up that has a fairly detailed breakdown of the things that have changed so that they, can be tested and verified. You bring up a very good point, which is one thing that we definitely want to point out is when we put Master Mode Gods from the Machine on PTS, which again we'll talk about shortly, please test Veteran as well. So if you had trouble defeating Veteran in the past, or you didn't, if you were able to defeat it, we want testing on both because we want to know did we get it right? Let me rephrase it. Did Matt get it right? Oh, well, that sound you heard was me going under the bus. Thanks, Musco.
You still haven't told me how to pronounce your name, so this is how this goes, Matt. Okay, let's talk about Master Mode.
Okay.
So first off, literally, you made the joke, but we did at one point, not that long ago, I think it was 2 roadmaps ago, say we were not doing Master Mode Gods from the Machine. What happened?
Keith happened?
Seems fair.
Yeah, we weren't planning on doing it. We were going to sort of plow ahead, and then Keith sort of, I really kind of want a Master Mode. It seems like a thing we should have. It seems like a thing people are interested in. And he's like, do you think you could do a Master Mode? And I told him, I was like, well, it's not for a lack of ideas. It was just a thing we said we weren't going to do. So he's like, well, how about we do it? I'm like, okay. you're the boss.
Yep.
And so that is literally how that happened. Sometimes it is that simple.
There you go. So Master Mode is happening. That will certainly raise the question, because one of the things we talked about in the roadmap, one of the things Keith talked about in the roadmap is that we were going to move away from Master Mode, Gods from the Machine, to work on future content, to reallocate that stuff. Don't worry. That doesn't mean that other stuff didn't happen. There is
not happening.
There is other large group content, not as far away as you may think. So hold on, don't worry. It doesn't mean that anything else bad happened. It just means you also get Master Mode right now to happen. Okay, so we know that Veteran was kind of at a Hardmare status, which for those that don't know, Hardmare status is a combination of it's harder than hard, which was what Veteran used to be, and easier than Nightmare, which is what Master Mode now is, that I still mess up. So it kind of lived between those two. So with Veteran going back down to where it should be, kind of what is the intended difficulty that you're looking at for this operation for players?
For Veteran?
No, for Master Mode.
It's spicy.
Spicy?
Yeah, it's meant to challenge the people who have the best grasp on the game. I mean, that's sort of the point of Master Mode is you are with a preformed group of people that you know well. You are in voice comms. You are capable of communicating. You are capable of reacting to things that you can't necessarily predict beforehand. I mean, Tithe has always had a little bit of surprise in the encounter, but in general, for a Veteran mode, you should be looking at encounter mechanics where you can know the fight going into it and know roughly what's going to happen. With Master Mode, you start to see things where you know the types of things that are going to happen, but you don't know where it's going to be targeted. You don't know the order that things are going to happen and that kind of thing, and you need to be able to react on the fly and not mess up, because failure in Master Mode tends to be punished fairly acutely. I'm worried about that. That may not be okay. We'll see what happens on PTS. That's yes. The beauty of PTS.
Please test it on PTS. Although there is a world where no one could beat anything on PTS, and that's okay, right? That is a possible world that we live in.
It is possible. I would be concerned. We'll see what happens. It's the sort of thing where, you know, if I'm watching people doing the encounters and it looks like they're well coordinated, they're executing, they're reacting correctly, and they're still getting blown up, then, you know, maybe we went too far with some things. But, you know, that's the fun of it, right? You just...
Yep. All right, balance targets.
Balance targets.
What are the balance targets?
Aha. Well, one of the things that tends to come with a new tier of difficulty is a new tier of balance and itemization support,
right?
If you will.
Yep.
So, yeah, Master Mode Gods and Machine is going to be pretty much assuming you are going into that full 248 OGD 240. And then actually scaling up past that due to the progression of the bosses within it. Tithe is actually explicitly balanced slightly lower than the rest of the bosses to give you both an access point. That doesn't mean it's going to be a pushover. That encounter Master Mode makes itself known like right when you pull the encounter. And then after that, things are going to escalate to the point where you're probably going to be in 252 by the time you are getting through towards the end of it.
And as Matt starts talking about the new tier stuff, we'll get into that in a few minutes, so don't worry. We'll go into more details on that stuff. All right, so the question that everyone wants to know is, when can I play it, though? Okay, so first off, let's talk about timing just for Gods from the Machine. So Jedi Under Siege, the very first thing that's going to go on PTS, and it's going to be open, no closed PTS, all open PTS, is going to be Gods from the Machine. So literally we are building PTS right now.
It is in the oven.
It's in the oven. So assuming the oven cooperates.
Doesn't explode in a majestic fireball.
Yep. It is possible, even likely, that you will be able to play Gods from a Machine on PTS tomorrow. But I don't want to guarantee it because things happen, especially when it comes to PTS. So if that doesn't happen, it'll be early next week. But you're only a handful of days at most away from being able to play Gods from the Machine on PTS. And again, that would be the Veteran and Master Mode changes that we want you to have. So Matt, can you walk people through? I go on PTS.
Yep.
I want to play the Gods from the Machine. What do?
So this is nothing new for the people who are familiar with closed PTS. This is more or less the same stuff that we've had on there.
And hang on 1 second. Someone's asking what PTS. PTS is our public test server. So that is, it's a place where it's a server you can access. It's a place subscribers can access future content that's not released yet. So it's different than the live game. It's this future content which we're talking about today. It's the way you can play that even though it's not released yet and give us our feedback.
Yep. In a somewhat sillier environment.
Yeah.
And notably, it is in progress.
Notably, it is in progress,
yes.
correct, yeah. So you should expect more bugs. Boss may one-shot you because Matt entered a number wrong.
Look, sometimes decimal points are hard, or checkboxes. Those are real hard too.
I agree. Yes, they can be. They can be.
Yeah, that 4 million hit point auto attack was... At any rate, so when you get onto PTS, there is the main PTS like testing utility hub is the Odessen landing area, like right where you zone into Odessen. To get you there, if you on all the starter worlds, there are these little teleport terminals that you can right-click on. They will teleport your character directly to Odessen. All of them are located usually within about 50 feet of where you start with a new character. So you just sort of, spacebar through the opening cinematic and go walk out the door and down the hall, and you should find a glowing terminal labeled Odessen Teleporter. Click on that, you go to Odessen. On Odessen, there is a level booster terminal. You use that, your character is set to level 70, and it just kind of like poops out money. I think it's like 500,000 credit every time you click it. So money will not be a problem.
Again, not a live server.
Not a live server. You will also find a collection of gear vendors that are selling gear. They're labeled by gear tier. They're full equipment sets, so you can buy pretty much everything you need. There's Tier 1 through Tier 4 Artifact, Tier 4 Legendary, augments, grenades, stims, consumables in general, and also new this time we are going to have a component vendor. So if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty and go swapping individual mods, enhancements, barrels, things out of your gear, there will be a vendor who is selling like piecewise the entire set of 248 gear. There's only a component vendor for 248 because you frankly shouldn't need to get into that level of granularity with your gear unless you are dealing with the absolute top end of things. And so yeah, you go there, buy your gear for 1 to 42 credits a piece, and then there's a second entrance to the Odessen operation. There will be what we call the light bridge to nowhere. There will just be a light bridge off the platform leading into a phase gate that's just in the air for no reason, PTS. And you run into that, and it leads you to the Iokath operation. Zoning out of the Iokath operation will still put you back on Iokath, but there's also an Odessen teleporter right outside the Iokath operation. So you can get between Iokath and the raid, or Iokath and Odessen, easily enough, and it's just all the gear you need. The reason we have multiple gear tiers is for testing validity. Honestly, if you want to, is veteran mode completable in 230, in 234, in 240? You can actually figure that out, or what does this feel like when you're at these various gear points? Story mode should be bolstering you, so in theory, story mode at 230 should feel exactly the same as story mode at 234. Yep. Stuff like that.
And so all these details, because it's a lot of information, but it's obviously on the screen. There will be Matt will have large forum posts covering all the changes happening to veteran.
Are you implying that I create walls of text,
yes.
Eric Musco?
Yes, I am. I am, Matt.
It's true.
And we'll also have directions on how all of this works. So again, if you want to test, if you've never had a chance to bang your head against Gods from the Machine, now's the time to grab your guild, get them ready, because again, in the next few days, when Gods goes on PTS, we want you to go in, and even if you're testing story, veteran, we don't care. We want you to go in and test Gods from the Machine.
And there's also going to be, I'm going to put up we'll probably try to put a thread up, but because it's a PTS server, I can actually be there running around and sort of watching, like being with you on your runs, because first-person observation is actually super valuable. Who knew?
So Matt might be stalking you.
I'll be lurking around here and there. We'll try to put up a forum that it's easiest for me to, if I know when people are running, it is easier for me to be there. So I'll probably be idling on the server a fair amount, but we'll put a thread up where you can post your raid times. And that'll make it easier for me to find people and increase the likelihood of me being able to be there. Obviously, I am a person, and there are a finite number of hours.
We're still out on that, man.
I also, in theory, need to sleep for at least like 4 hours out of every 2 days. So there's a limit to what I can do here. But
love it.
So when I start showing up for work at 2 p.m., it's their fault.
All right, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Yes. That'll cover everything for Master Mode. So now we're going to get into Masterwork gear. So I'm going to sub Matt for a Charles so we can talk about Masterwork stuff. Also, the people were very happy. People were asking what Matt was eating. Matt was eating Swedish fish. He had a tub of Swedish fish that he was consuming, which is the way to go.
That does not constitute an official endorsement of
correct. Correct. That does not. Oh, wait, hang on. I gotta change Matt's.
Ooh, name change.
I gotta change Matt.
What we got?
What was it? Charlie I don't even remember. Charles. It's
Charlie McBeardface.
Charlie McBeardyface. Someone remind
Charlie
me.
McBeardy Pants.
McBeardy Pants. Oh, thank you.
All right. I don't think that'll fit in the blank.
Hello. I don't think it will either.
I'm Charlie McBeardy Pants.
And you are?
I am the creative director for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Easy. So
it is my great honor to have that role.
We've now hit the long part of the relay because we've covered maybe like 15% of the stream. Yeah. So now we're gonna
got so much.
Now we're gonna cruise through the rest. Okay.
Hope y'all are thirsty.
Yep. So we know that when Keith put in the roadmap that there was a tier 5 of gear and that it was crafted, there was a lot of concerns about what ? And so we're gonna talk about how you get it, where it is. It's not really a full tier of gear either, which I think is important to point out. There aren't all rarities. There isn't prototype, artifact. Like there isn't the full range of rarities. So let's just dive in and show you what it is and where you get it, because there's a lot of different sources of. There's a lot of different ways you can get this stuff.
Yes.
Let me hide our faces for a moment, so that we're
maximum visibility, maximum information.
Yep.
Yes. So what is it?
Yep.
It's Masterwork armor is what we're calling it.
Yep.
But it's effectively tier 5. That's going to include 2 different item levels, 252 artifact and 258 legendary. As you can read here. They both have set bonuses.
Yep.
And they have the same general stat kind of breakdown as previous tiers do. So you can set your expectations and plan for that.
Yep. So crafting. So this is let's talk about crafting first, because crafting also ties into the Master Mode op directly, because this is the best source and the fastest source of getting the gear. So it's the best source because you will get a bind on equip version of that gear. So yes, you could actually create a 258 legendary piece and sell it as a crafter. And the way you get those, so first off, you'll just pick up the schematic. You go to your usual crew skill trainer, you pick up the crew skill, now you have the schematic for it. The materials come from a variety of places. So obviously, standard crew skill stuff that you have, there'll be a material that comes specifically from Ossus. There'll be a material that comes from PvP, because obviously we want to make sure that PvP players have a stake in this as well. From Conquests, the usual tie into Conquest, and then Gods from the Machine bosses will drop a material specifically. And that's what you use to craft the bind on equip versions of this gear. By pacing, I believe it's the fastest way to get the gear. So if you're actively killing Gods from the Machine bosses and crafting it, that's the fastest way to get it. But we know there's concerns of, but I'm not a crafter, but I'm not doing Gods from the Machine.
How do I get this armor?
How do I get this stuff? So, Charles, you want to talk about kind of the other ways that everybody can
all
get
sorts
it?
of ways. So, obviously, you can buy it from crafters if you have the cash.
Sure.
Which our information tells us many of you do.
If you got them mad credits.
Mad credits piled up.
Is that what the kids call these days?
That would probably be your fastest route, potentially.
Yep.
You can also purchase the gear from a reputation vendor using Masterwork crystal shards.
Yep. And so the one note on reputation, the one note on reputation, I specifically call out reputation because there's going to be reputation breakpoints to buy the gear.
Correct. Good clarification.
Yep. I wrote a note down, so I remember to pick it up. Don't worry.
There's so much to cover here.
There is, yeah.
The new currency, the Masterwork shards, can be earned from a new special weekly mission that we're going to be offering. That's going to cycle week to week. Sometimes it's flashpoints, sometimes it's dailies, different things. It's going to be available on the Ossus weekly missions, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yep.
Like we mentioned, Ossus is our new daily area coming in Jedi Under Siege.
Yep.
You can also exchange at a somewhat ludicrous and in a limited way unassembled components for Masterwork shards.
Yep. And the intention is you can do it a limited time per character per week.
Correct.
And it gets more expensive each time you do it.
Within that week.
Yep. Within that week. Yep.
Yeah. So it's not like the fastest way to get it, but it does give you one more little extra angle and something to do with your.
Those of you sitting on a Scrooge McDuck vault of unassembled components got your back.
Get a little bit extra.
Yep.
And of course, they'll start dropping in command crates as well at I believe the max level command crates.
Correct. Yep. At 300. Yep.
Yep. And the gear itself will rarely drop from command crates at rank 300.
Yep.
And from our Ossus World Boss weekly mission.
Yep, which is a slight spoiler.
Hey, Ossus has some world bosses.
There's world bosses.
We'll get to that.
Yep. So I saw a question earlier, which is, does that crafting component only drop from Gods from the Machine bosses? The answer is yes. That is, the intention is that in the pre-Galactic Command era of getting gear, there was obviously mechanisms where people who did the hardest content specifically got just that gear for doing that content. This is kind of that version of that. So yeah, the intention is that you either have to complete the content or you have to be able to buy it from the people that do to be able to craft it. But as you can see, if you play any content in this game, theoretically you have a path to get it. Again, the gameplay versions are not the fastest route. The crafting version is the fastest route because we do want Gods from the Machine to be the fastest way to get the gear. But
yeah,
that's how that works.
Yep.
And I will see if I can... we'll be able to upgrade the shells. We'll be able to upgrade 428 shells for Masterwork shards. I don't think there's any gear upgrading. I'm assuming you're asking about like the PvP vet, like through PvP, are you able to upgrade it? I bet the answer is no, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, sorry, that's not one I remember right off the top of my head, but we can get you that info.
We'll check. Yes, make sure. Yeah. And by the way, I should mention that's a very good statement to make. Anything that we don't know the answer to, please ask in the forums after the stream, and we can work tomorrow and through next week, and as we get into PTS, getting the details because. Like I said, we're going to cover a lot of information, and so we tried to get as much of it prepared as we could, but we'll certainly miss some stuff. So
cool. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, let's keep rolling.
Guild improvements.
That's right. So
what is that?
There's so many.
Sweet. So first of all, perhaps the biggest stuff for guilds is a new guild progression system. So now your guild itself will level up and earn XP, by completing conquests, your weekly objectives, invading planets, and all of that. Now, you might ask, what does leveling up my guild get me?
Yep.
Well, that gets you guild perks. And guild perks are temporary buffs or improvements to every member of your guild that are slotted into your guild ship. Now, I can imagine the first question of that will be, but what if I don't have a guild ship? Aren't guild ships really, really hard to get?
But wait, there's more.
We are, in fact, going to adjust how you get guild ships to make it somewhat simpler than it is now to increase their availability. It's still not, a walk in the park.
Yep.
Get them handed to you, but much simpler. Are the materials... Sorry, Matt's pointing at the screen.
Sorry. The question was, how many of the materials for Masterwork gear drop from each boss, and is it only Master Mode? I don't know the answer to the first question, but I don't know that it would matter even if I did because you don't have context on how much it costs to make it, so I don't know. But the answer to the second question, I believe, is yes. I believe it is only Master Mode bosses that drop it.
Yes. So, sorry, back to the perks.
Matt, stop your pointing.
Yeah, Matt.
I guess I could bring our faces back.
Stop bringing up relevant questions.
Sorry.
Hey, there we are again.
Sorry.
Cool.
I forgot about our faces.
No, it's all good. So guild perks, they're temporary, so you'll need to cycle them over time. As one wears off, replace it with a new one. The perks that are available to be purchased at any given time will change over, so 1 week, this set of perks might be available, the next week, a different set. And I'm using a week as an example. We haven't totally decided how long the perks last.
Yep.
They're purchased with a new guild currency. We will probably jokingly call that Space Bucks or Guild Bucks.
Guild Bucks,
We're still picking the name.
Yeah, I was getting yelled at for spelling Guild Bucks wrong in the placeholder of this PowerPoint. So Guild Bucks is serious.
Yeah, so you will purchase those with a combination of this new currency, which is earned from earning guild levels a little bit, and predominantly by completing your planetary yield in conquests. That's where you earn most of the new guild currency. Combine that with credits, that buys you perks. The number of perks and the types of perks you can have available depends on how many rooms are unlocked on your guild ship.
Yep.
Perks, let's get some examples.
Yeah, because one of the things I saw someone said is please make crafting objectives better for conquests. So we can talk a little bit about that. But
so one perk that we're looking at giving is actually a perk that gives you extra conquest objectives. So that you can tailor conquests to your guild specialty. So I want an extra objective for flashpoints, or I want an extra objective for crafting. That's something we're very, very likely to include.
Yep.
Like I said, this is all still in development, but other perks, simpler stuff, quality of life kind of things, like, I want to increase the rate at which I harvest things in the field. stuff like that.
Higher XP gain for everyone in my guild.
From particular activities. So the kind of the core idea behind the perks is to let you advance your guild, level it up, and make your guild more specialized into the things that you particularly like. So if you want to go broad, you can put a little bit into each activity. If you want to go specific and try to really lay it on for operations or flashpoints, what have you, you can do that.
So I've seen a couple different people bring up that they feel like right now conquests are punishing to small guilds and that this will be problematic because of that. So one thing to keep in mind is a lot of the way that we're looking at conquest is winning conquest is not the point of conquest. Completing a planetary yield in that conquest is really what you want to drive.
That's what's going to get you the currencies. That's what's going to get you your guild leveled up.
Now, that being said, we're highly sensitive to the fact that there needs to be a balance between small, medium, large yield and how large guilds can go faster than small guilds, and so understanding that stuff. And I think some of that will go to the last point, which is conquest improvements, which just at a base level...
generally, it's a variety of tweaks that we won't get into too much, but
the general sense is, which is funny because it's actually the opposite of what we talked about when we did the revamp, which 100%, this is your feedback. Right? This is the thing that we took from the feedback that we got when we made the initial Conquest revamp is we're going to go back to Conquest's objectives being more consistent, more similar.
Week to week. And then, ideally then you can use your perks to potentially mix that up more and make it more what you're after.
So we make sure that conquests cover all of the things you want to do, that you can get points for those. The variance will probably be in the planets, right? So instead of it being kill 100 enemies on Ilum, it'll be kill 100 enemies on Nar Shaddaa, or whatever that may be. And then we know there's been a lot of consternation around the daily repeatable objectives because they are by legacy, which feels punishing per character. So we're going to pull focus away from that and lean more into weekly
and infinitely
repeatable, which is exactly how it worked prior to that. So I'm not saying we're going to get rid of them, but we'll just focus on that quite a bit less. And that's just scratching the surface of the conquest changes. And so again, these will be the things that are on PTS, and we really want to make sure that we get your feedback on it this time, which we didn't do last time when we made the Conquest changes. They never went to PTS, so we're going to make sure they're on PTS so we can get your feedback.
They won't be in the first phase of PTS. Like we said, that's focused on Guts from the Machine. But in future phases of the PTS, well before this comes out, this stuff will be available for testing.
So
I did see one just quick question in there that's relevant. Just explain what conquests are.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
For people who don't play or haven't played lately, aren't as familiar with it. Conquest it's simple. It's a weekly rotating set of objectives that you can complete both as a solo player. You have a personal conquest goal, and then there are larger guild level conquest goals that you complete just by playing the game. So it'll give you a list of various activities: playing flashpoints, playing daily areas, completing missions, defeating enemies, all kinds of activities across the game. This is just a system for rewarding you for playing regularly and increasing, activity in guilds, giving them something to target, which we are now tying into this guild progression for that same reason.
You bring up a good point, which is a lot of the changes specifically on this list. There was a lot of disparate systems, which conquests, guild ships, they didn't really tie together very much.
And our goal was to really fix that, bring things closer together, and make them more.
And so now all of these systems are in a loop. So if you were in a guild, you're playing in the game, you're completing conquest, which is completing your yield, which is leveling your guild, which is allowing you to buy perks, which gives you incentives to play the content that you were playing, and it actually builds that loop for you a little bit, which was missing from before. So speaking of missing, there's one thing missing from this list. Which, if you were paying attention to the roadmap, we talked about guild heraldry. Charles, where is guild heraldry?
It is not in 5.10, unfortunately, but it is still on the list. It is still something that is in the works, so we're hoping to add it in a later update after 5.10. We will keep you posted on that because it's really cool. And we really want to do it.
So not gone, not forgotten, but just not yet. Okay.
Cool.
I saw a question earlier, which is, what about guild management?
Hey.
Great news.
Spoiler.
Guild management.
Yes.
So that's the second half of the guild changes that are coming. Charles?
Cool stuff. So right off the bat, we're adding kind of a new guild landing page. This is something that doesn't replace stuff, but kind of brings a lot of the features of your guild together into one place so that you can kind of see your, guild log, various information. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is all in guild management as well. So things that we're adding to your guild to help you manage it, which will be available on the guild landing page. Things like a log of much, much more than it currently logs, so that you can actually track, interact what's the word I'm trying to say here? Jeez.
I don't know. I have
transactions.
I have a guild.
The transactions of your guild bank.
I have
members being added, members being kicked.
Yep. I have
a guild being promoted.
I have a guild logging example, which
yes.
I can't guarantee this is actually in, but I know we talked about it. Which is there was some concern. Oh, I should back up a second. So we made a change to Conquest where the review period was only an hour, and we couldn't tell you why at the time. The reason why is because you need Conquest to be available largely to help you level. And so by having the review period be 2 days, that would mean you couldn't level for 2 days, which is bad.
Yes.
So that's why we made that review period much shorter.
Yes.
So that brought up a very valid concern from guild leaders, which is, especially for and as someone who has spreadsheets for every game they play, I appreciate that this is something that exists where people adamantly track the Conquest participation of everyone in their guild week over week and stuff. And so one of the concerns was, with the review time only being an hour, I don't have a lot of time to get that information. So I don't know if it made it in, but I do know I personally talked to the engineering team about seeing if logging could capture each member's participation after a conquest is concluded.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of the stuff that could be in logging. I'm not saying that's actually there because I don't know that it made it, but we'll get you that list of everything that's there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Additional stuff, guild mail, so you can much more easily send a message to everyone within your guild. You can ban by legacy now, so if you keep getting a member who keeps sneaking into your guild to make trouble, you can ban them by their entire legacy, not have to worry about it.
And we should bring up ban by legacy. We know that by the time chat catches up, they're going to have a question, which is, can I ignore by legacy?
Yes, not yet. Unfortunately, though those seem like they would be working in a very similar way, they in fact work in extremely different ways, which is very frustrating for us, as I'm sure it's very frustrating for y'all.
Yep.
So we understand completely the desire to have that and are working towards it, but I don't have anything I can say yet about when that might happen.
Yep. And so Levelophilia asks, what about same legacy names? So we had this question come up when we talked about this before. So let me clarify exactly how ban by legacy works. So the way that you as players see someone's account and someone's legacy is not how we see it. So if I ban the Boyd legacy, that doesn't mean anyone who has the Boyd legacy can't get in the guild. It means we as a game know I banned Charles, and Charles will not be able to get in the guild anymore on that account, period. He can change his legacy name, he can do whatever he wants.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Won't get me in.
We know who he is. So understandable concern, but it's not that simple. We're actually doing it from the back end side, that we know who that person is. That to us, you're banning that person, not that legacy name or anything like that. So you don't have to worry.
It's just easiest to understand as banned by legacy.
Yep. So you don't have to worry about that.
And the last thing, which was actually listed first, I left out guild ranks. I literally just saw someone ask about it. Yes, we are adding more guild ranks with more options for what each rank has access to, what they are capable of, and what they're entitled to do.
Yep.
Last thing I'll mention, Guild Inspect. So what this does is let you click on another player and inspect their guild, which will tell you a little more information about their guild. What level are they? Once that's available, you'll have a message that you can add to your guild landing page, which will now be a message that's publicly viewable to members outside your guild when they inspect a member of your guild. So if you want to put a recruitment message there, or just information about what your guild does, we're PvP focused, we love ops, we're super casual, whatever you want, you can put it in that and it will show up in a guild inspect when others click on it. Cool. So that you can help your recruitment efforts.
One of the questions I've seen come up a few times is, are we changing the character cap limit per guild?
We are not at this time.
Correct. Yep. That's a different challenge to do that. So not right.
This does not replace the guild message of the day. That is still an internal facing thing, so that's only visible to members of your guild. That's a message that's visible to people outside. They're separate. You can have them the same if you want, I suppose, but
and I know this is meant to be a cynical question, but I'm going to make it a serious one. Drax543 asks, who wants to bet how buggy this will be? So I will say, please go on PTS and test it.
Yes.
That's important. Bugs happen. We don't want to release things that are buggy either, and that's why we're putting all of this on PTS so that you can help us go on there, bring your whole guild.
Yep.
Test all of these guild features, let us know it doesn't work, so we can work on trying to fix it and give you the best product possible. So I know you're meaning it to be facetious, but actually it's a serious thing.
Yeah, we would love to get anyone's feedback that we can.
That's why we've started doing more PTS as well,
yes.
Because we want to try to have as little bugginess as possible.
Yeah, and so this will also be added to the PTS, not in the initial phase, but coming in a later state, a later phase of the PTS in the weeks to come.
Yep, and we'll talk about PTS in a little bit as well.
Yes.
Speaking of
last thing though,
PvP Summer.
Yes.
Wrapping that.
One last little bit of love for PvPers.
Yep.
PvP challenges. So what this will do is let you challenge another group to a PvP match of your own, devising or your own decision. So I want to I have a group. I want to challenge Musco's group to a match of Hutball on Vanden. I can through various methods.
Which one of these groups has Keith in it?
Oh, I'm going to say mine because I want to win.
Okay, perfect.
So I can right-click on Musco
Yeah.
and choose Challenge. That will bring up a menu that's visible to the group leaders, where we can make check out each other's groups, see what the composition is.
It's kind of like a lobby.
Yeah, a little bit like a lobby, or like even also like a trade window kind of. You can see who's in the group, what their disciplines and classes are, that kind of thing. And then pick what map are we going to do?
Yep.
You can do a war zone, you can do an arena, you can do a starfighter map, and the minimum number of players is just the minimum of 2v2. You got to have at least 2 people on each team.
So if you want to do 2v2 Hutball,
you can do it.
Yep. And one thing I want to head off at the pass, by the way, because
Yes.
someone's like, "Oh, win trading made easy." You get no rewards for doing this.
Nope.
Like, this
These
isn't a queue.
Yeah, this is completely outside of the standard PvP queue.
Yep.
It's doesn't count for ranked. It can, however, if you are in guilds. If I am in a guild and I challenge Musco and he is in a guild and our groups are composed of members of our guilds, then you can have a tracked match.
Yep.
And there will now be a tracking in your guild landing page.
Yep.
That tracks your wins and losses against other guilds and in the different game types.
Yep.
So
Yep.
only for guilds. If you're just a random pickup group of you and some friends who are not in a guild and you challenge another group, that cannot be tracked. If you are in guilds, you can choose whether it's tracked. You can do just a scrimmage, just a practice match, or you can do it for real with it tracked.
Yep.
And have that going forward.
Yep. And so our idea here is to kind of just continue off of the things we did with the Rishi Stronghold, which is people who run PvP tournaments. Now, not only could you make your own war zone inside of the Stronghold, now you could literally say, I'm going to do an actual 8v8 Hutball tournament, and you can run your own custom 8v8 Hutball tournament.
Yep.
Obviously, spectation becomes a problem, but that's weeds I don't need to get into. But you can actually do real decided matches in every war zone in the game, including Starfighter. So.
Yep. And that will also be on PTS, so please,
Yes,
jump in and check it out.
Please
let
test
us
it.
know what you think. It may not have the full UI at the very first version, but like I said, you'll be able to right-click on people to start it. You can actually, there will be a / command to start it, and it'll be eventually in the activities window to challenge people.
Yep. Matt, I saw you put a finger up.
What do you got?
What's your question?
Something we discovered during testing. Vanden 4v4 is really fun.
That is true. There was a bug where this was internal, by the way, where Vanden thought it was an arena, right? And so it would only pop 4v4 when we were doing our playtest.
Yeah.
It was super fun. You're right, actually.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, we're probably bad compared to people who are good. So for good people, it might not be as fun, but it was great for us. It was good fun.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's keep it moving.
All right.
Oh, it's time.
We've arrived.
Almost.
We've arrived. We're almost an hour into the stream. We've
No.
now arrived at Ossus.
Yes.
So, Charles, you want to give at least the super high level of Ossus.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into, so just so you guys know, we're going to talk about gameplay on Ossus first. So an understanding of,
it's a daily area. What does that mean? What kind of
Right.
stuff's going to be available? How does it compare to others?
then we're going to get to story. And again, just for anyone that has any concerns, we're not going to get super spoilery. So you
Yes.
should be fine, unless you don't want to know anything at all.
Then-
which we'll let you know when you need
Yes.
to stop listening. I guess,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Right now, I'm just telling you stuff that you would know if you read the comics.
Right.
So you're cool.
Yep. So we're going to talk about just that, and then when we get to the story section, we'll let you
Yes.
know so you can stop listening. And that's basically the last section anyway. But granted, it's going to be a long section, but that's basically the last section. So
Yes.
but we'll let you know when you get there. All right, Charles.
Cool. So Ossus, for those who have not heard of this planet before, was an ancient kind of center of Jedi activity. It was sort of not necessarily their home base for all Jedi, but very much a central part of the Jedi Order in the ancient past. It first appeared in the Tales of the Jedi comics. It was devastated, as planets so often are in the Star Wars universe.
As they sure are.
By the Sith. They set off a chain of supernovas in the Kron cluster nearby, which really devastated the planet, wiped out pretty much all life. Incoming Swedish fish.
This can't be good for my
on the
throat, by the way.
planet, destroyed most of the structures. It was a very very bad thing that happened. Left it. I don't. Thank you. I'm talking, man. I can't Swedish fish.
Stop distracting him, Matt.
You're messing with my flow. I love you, Matt. So it has been a very unpleasant place over the last several hundred years since that happened. But now we're going to be giving players the chance to go visit this ancient Jedi homeworld in a new storyline.
Yep.
In fact, kind of two new storylines because it is separate Imperial and Republic storylines, which I'll get into more detail about here in a minute.
Yep.
But once those storylines are complete, once you finish the sort of critical path, as we call it, storyline, that opens up Ossus as a daily area, which has repeatable missions just like any other daily area. So let's dive into a little of that.
Yep, let's talk about gameplay.
Yeah. So like I said, unlocks after you've completed the storyline, the crit path, as we call it. There are separate Empire and Republic storylines, which means there are separate Empire and Republic daily missions. Now, yes, some of them do have similar objectives, but some of them are quite different.
Yep. Would it be fair to say this is the story, the way that it is separated Empire and Republic is akin to like McCab, where it's two stories that there's some overlap, but they're basically coming from two different sides.
There, like I said, there's 10-ish missions, a few more if you can, especially include the weeklies, things like that. Not all of those missions will be on the bounty board at the front. Some you'll collect out in the field. We're really trying to look at past daily areas, what worked and especially what didn't.
Yep.
So, for example, unlike Iocath, these missions will not rotate and become unavailable at certain times. Every mission on there will be available every day or every week, depending on if it's daily or weekly.
Yep. So this is, again, where even when we put something out in the wild, giving us your feedback is always helpful because then we can use it to help inform future decisions.
Exactly. There's a new reputation track that's going to be relevant too for shards and stuff. I believe.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, there'll be breakpoints for where you can, where you will be able to then purchase the artifact and legendary tiers of gear, depending on where you are on the reputation track. So it won't be just as simple as I got the currency, I'm going to go buy it. You have to make sure to actually be doing the dailies, and which, to be fair, you get the currency there anyway, but to build their reputation up. So
some new datacrons to find. I think there are 3.
I think there's 3.
I forget what they give you. I apologize.
I don't know.
We can get you that information coming up soon because there was some debate about what to put on those.
Yep.
2 world bosses, as we alluded to earlier.
Yep.
Along with weekly missions to defeat them.
Yep.
They will drop good shit.
Yep. They drop
good stuff.
They drop the 52 minutes curse word, 52 minutes, and it wasn't.
That's actually pretty good.
It wasn't me. And that I think they dropped the artifact. I think they have a chance to drop the artifact, or the artifact comes off of the weekly for the world bosses. So,
we will be including some old classic stuff a little bit.
That's right.
Some Seeker Droid. It may even be a somewhat improved version of Seeker Droid. I can't guarantee that yet, but we have some ideas.
Isn't there a macro mission too?
Yeah. There's macro binoculars.
There's a macro binocular mission.
For those who are not fans of being giant walkers, we do not currently have any missions where you play as a giant walker.
Yep.
You make me sad by not liking it because being a walker is awesome.
Being a walker is great.
That's okay.
Yep.
Not this time. Didn't fit the story.
Yep.
And all of these missions will have tons of stronghold decorations to unlock.
Yep. And we wanted to point that out specifically because it's gameplay. We're not selling them to you. They're literally just like all over Ossus doing all kinds of stuff will get you all kinds of decos for your stronghold.
Yep.
So
cool.
We have some more concept.
Yeah. So are we moving? We're into story now, right?
We're moving towards story.
So
let's see. Hang on. Wait. So it's.
So these are farms. There's a Jedi colony on Ossus, which is what I'll get to in a moment. So these are some of the farms. They're kind of trying to terraform or Star Wars form the planet to make it more hospitable again.
Yep. So let's talk about the last set of mechanical stuff, and then we're going to go to story. And so we'll let you know. Okay, so spoiler disclaimer. So I'm listing a spoiler, but what we're really talking about is data mining.
Yes, because that's going to happen. We don't like it.
Yep.
You should not do it. It is against our terms of service. Please don't do it.
Yep.
And we don't someone else might do it and post things in places where you might see them. So we wanted to give you a heads up because some crazy stuff's going to happen in this update.
Yeah. There's some things in Jedi Under Siege that we know that we can't talk to you about that we want you to experience by playing. And so if you're the kind of person that is on the internet, after PTS goes out, again, either tomorrow or earlier next week. Actually, to be fair, the data mining could actually probably start happening in the next day or two. Be very, very careful on the internet because we really don't want you to get spoiled for some of the awesome stuff that's happening in Jedi Under Siege. So
just be cautious. Know that that might happen. Watch where you're reading.
And someone said, so please tell us. We're not going to tell you because we want you to play it and experience it.
Yes.
Trust us.
Yes.
Trust us. You want it. You want to experience.
You might be shocked to learn that when we create a story, we like you to experience it in the way that we created it, not by reading it in poorly pasted together text.
Correct. So anyway, just as a heads up, just be cautious on the internet. take this and be
because
cautious.
we want you to enjoy it the best experience that it can be.
Okay, so if you are someone who has not played in a while, you've been away, there's some things that will happen when you try to access Ossus.
Yes, so you will have the option of jumping forward to the beginning of the Ossus storyline from anywhere previous in the game. As long as you are level 70, you have the option to go straight to Ossus. What this will do is it will autocomplete Knights of the Eternal Throne, it will autocomplete Knights of the Fallen Empire, it will autocomplete everything before that. It will also autocomplete the Fractured Alliances storyline. And any choice, it will pick default choices for all of those things, which we usually break down by faction.
Right.
Usually, if you're a Republic character, we pick generally light side choices. If you're an Imperial character, we pick generally dark side choices. So if you really care and want to make sure your character is as specific and up to your vision of that character, play through it all, get those choices. Otherwise, if you just really want to get to the new stuff, you can start the Ossus storyline if you're level 70.
Yep. And I don't believe you need to be a sub to do it, as long as you are currently level 70. So you had to have been a sub.
You have to have been a sub at some point to get to level 70, but other than that, that's right. Now, what that also means is if you have anything that is not completed, even if you have completed most of the main storyline, you've done Fractured Alliances, say, but you haven't done all your alliance alerts, or you didn't, you have the Arc and Romance option available, but you haven't completed it, things like that. Those are going to be auto-completed too. We need to have those decisions locked down before we can move the story forward. So it's going to auto-complete those missions as well. So if you're sitting on some companion returns that you haven't done, or romances that you really wanted to kick off that you haven't yet, be sure to do it before you start Ossus. Because it's going to assume that you didn't want to.
So, Saboteur and Loyalist, what's that?
So that's just kind of our internal terminology for a situation that I think a lot of players have brought up, something that they're very passionate about, something that we internally totally agree with.
And I should point out for a second, if you have not played up through Iocath, Charles is about to say spoilery things.
So spoilers for everything before Ossus.
Correct. If you haven't played Iocath yet and you want to,
as you know, you're
earmuffs.
Yes, you are now the commander of an alliance. This alliance is composed of lots of people from both factions and some from completely unrelated factions. And at various points in the story, such as Iocath, you may have in fact sided with the opposite faction of the one that you chose when you created your character in the first place. So that should mean, hey, I want to continue supporting that other faction. Can I switch? The answer is not quite, but a little. What you will get the option to do is to become a saboteur. So if you have, in fact, you don't have to have made those choices before either. It just probably makes more sense. But you, before beginning the Ossus storyline, will get an opportunity to become a secret double agent for the opposite faction. And yes, I know agents may in fact already be double agents, so you can simply
double agent
and carry that on, and you will get special moments in the storyline where your character will be able to undermine their original faction in favor of the enemy. So you will be secretly working for them behind the scenes and get extra little story scenes and different results because of that. Flip side, if you want to stay loyal to your original faction, even if you were maybe not so loyal at a couple of points, you can do that. You can go reaffirm your loyalties to the Republic or to the Sith Empire, and you will get special and slightly different options based on that. Things may work out a little better for your faction because you're loyal to them versus if you were secretly undermining them all the time.
Easy.
So, obviously, this saves us from certain bad situations like classes getting to fleets that they shouldn't be able to and messing with people. There's a few technical reasons we went with this route. But I also think it makes for a really interesting story and a lot of interesting moments that we can bring forward. Now, you will just be starting out as a saboteur or loyalist at this point in the story. So, the things that you're doing will be comparatively minor for now. They're important, they're impactful, but, just wait because it's going to get worse or better as you go along. As you go along.
Okay, so I think at this point, if you don't want spoilers for anything in Ossus, now is when you probably need to stop listening.
I'm only going to give you the general setup, stuff that you would get in the first 10 to 15 seconds of the update, but if you want to know nothing, now's the time to put on the earmuffs.
And we are going to talk about 5 characters. I'm trying to count in my head. A handful of characters that you're also going to experience, some which are new, some which are returning. And so if you don't want to know that either, that will also get spoiled for you. That you don't want to know they exist. So just as a heads up. Also, we're going to show you that because we're going to show you the new key art and loading screen for 5.10. So I guess you may see that on the internet also, which would then you just may have no idea who those people are. But anyway, so just giving you a few seconds that if you want to exit stage left of stream to avoid spoilers, please do so.
Yes. Also, I'm seeing a couple of questions about the companions who are coming back. We will get to them in just a moment.
Yes, correct. We're going to talk about the story of Ossus, then we're going to talk about the companions, I think.
Yes.
I've been looking at this PowerPoint for like 100 hours. I should have that memorized.
Yeah,
but I don't.
We may have moved some things.
And I saw someone ask earlier, what about giveaways? Giveaways going to happen literally at the very end of the stream.
Yes.
So
Stick around.
Stick around. All right.
Cool.
Here we go.
So just some more cool concept art.
Yep.
Like I said, Ossus was devastated by the Sith several hundred years in the past. So it is an inhospitable wasteland. It's radioactive. There's, stuff doesn't really grow generally. There's limited plant life and stuff that started to kind of creep back in, but generally not a livable place.
Right.
And it is enshrouded in a thing called the Kron Drift, which is like a nebula of detritus and barren rock and stuff left over from the explosion of the Kron supernova. So it's a very remote, very unpleasant place, which is why a group of Jedi who survived the war against Zakul have chosen this planet, in fact chose this planet several years ago, to establish a hidden colony where many Jedi have been in hiding since that time, in an attempt to kind of rebuild their order, to kind of refine their center after years and years of warfare, and hopefully kind of rediscover what it is to be a Jedi, really refocus their efforts on what's really true to them. So they've had this colony for about 5 years, if I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly. They've established farms. They've started some, reclamation kind of efforts to make the planet more hospitable again in order to support themselves, and they hope eventually to support many more.
Yep.
Naturally, that can't be something that the Sith Empire is super cool about, especially given that we are on the brink of war between the Republic and the Sith Empire once again. Now that the Eternal Throne and its power and the Eternal Fleet are out of the picture, there's no one to stop the Republic and the Empire from going back to war. They're just rattling those sabers,
right?
Waiting to see who's going to fire the first shot.
Also, the people demand war.
Yeah,
the people being you guys, by the way, in this scenario.
So that first shot is coming here on Ossus. The Sith Empire has learned of this hidden Jedi colony. They are not going to allow a chance for the Jedi to rebuild and restructure themselves. That's an easy chance to get a major head start on the war, try to take out the Jedi in a preemptive strike. That's what they're going to be trying to do. So if you're an Imperial player, you are coming to Ossus in the hope of destroying the Jedi who are present there and eliminating some of their more key members, who we'll get to in a second.
Yep.
And if you are a Republic character, you are being recruited to help the Jedi colony to protect it from the Empire until they can evacuate and escape as best they can. So
there you go.
That is the setup.
There's your Ossus setup. So,
yes. And both, again, unless you're a saboteur, then you might be undermining some of that stuff a bit.
Right. Then do the opposite of everything that Charles
subtly,
said.
You can't just show up and murder everybody. You gotta play your cards. You're playing the long game here.
Yep.
So,
all right. So let's talk about. I was wrong. We talk about
companions first.
We talk about companions.
Let's do it.
Then we do the characters.
So a lot of the characters are coming back. As part of the Ossus storyline. One is fairly separate from it. I'll get into that. So just going in order, we have Doc. Doc is now serving as the doctor for the Jedi colony. That's where he's been. That's why he didn't know you were back.
Yep.
He's been in this secluded place for a very long time.
Yep.
Kim Vol. Now, Kim Vol is only going to be available if your character sided with Kim Vol in your class storyline as part of his companion story. So if you sided with Zash, then you already know what happened to Kim Vol because you've hopefully played the Nathma Flashpoint solo story mode and seen what happens.
Yep.
But if you sided with Kim Vol all along, he's your bestest monster bro, then you will encounter him on Ossus in the Wastes. Nadia Grell, favorite companion
I saw a lot of Nadia spam in chat when it popped up.
She's a Jedi. She's she's part of the colony. She's part of their
Keith is spamming Nadia, so I guess
Keith was pretty excited.
I guess so.
To see
Yeah,
Nadia
it's great.
again. And then we have a double up. We've got Jaisa Wilson, both light side and dark side. Light side Jace you will encounter on Ossus. Dark side Jace you will encounter as a separate mission, not entirely related to Ossus, but coming out at the same time.
How does it work with getting Jace back if I'm an existing, like I was a Sith warrior? Do I get back the one that my canon version of Jace is what I get?
So whichever Jace you had before the storyline began, that's the Jace you're going to get back.
Okay. And so one other thing we have that's special about the companions, not all of them, but most of them this time.
Sorry, before I get to that, I should also mention, although some of these characters you may encounter across multiple classes, like Doc or Nadia, you will only get them back as companions if they were your companion before. So if I'm a Jedi Knight, I can get Doc back. If I am a trooper, I will not get Doc. Yep, as a companion. Still might need him.
Yep. So, question that always comes up, romance. So we actually have some changes for some of these characters.
So for the first time, we are going to offer same gender romance options for original companions, like Nadia and Jace.
There you go.
Also, extensively requested, you will be able to romance or begin a romance with light side Jace, where you could not do that before.
Yep. So we've added romance to light side Jace, and Nadia and dark side Jace also available for same gender romance, which is something that's been requested for a very long time. So we're happy that we can finally actually add that in.
Now again, this is just beginning the relationship. It's it's just getting started. But just so you know.
Yep, that's there.
Cool.
All right. So
new characters.
All right, I'm gonna hide
some new. Many are actually returning characters, returning classic characters from the very earliest days of the game.
Oh, I'm so excited! So excited!
I'm starting with a new character.
I'm gonna hide our faces so that you can see the whole art.
Yes,
because I think that's better.
Yes.
Which I want.
So this is our new key art. This is going to be the new loading screen in game. You'll see this.
To be fair,
a lot.
Not this.
Yeah,
there's
the thing we're revealing.
More things are going to go on this, but yes.
Jonas Balkar, I see that. Remind me about that later.
Do you want to just do it now before we start this?
No, we've too much hype. Let's get into this.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yes,
this is my pen.
Yes.
I'm gonna write it. Jonas.
Do it.
Balkar.
Yes.
Wow, we build more suspense. Okay, let me hide our faces. Okay. Here we go, one at a time. So first off,
new character. Oh well, first off, it's Jedi versus Sith.
Yep.
Just so you know.
Very important.
If that wasn't clear before.
Yes.
Jedi versus Sith. This is Tau Adair. Tau Adair is a Jedi. She is the head of security for the Jedi colony. She's a new character. I am really excited for y'all to meet her and see what her deal is because she's really, really badass.
Can we talk? Do you want to talk about her tattoo?
Yeah, she's got the ancient symbol for the light side, the Ashla. There on her head. Wait.
I think we're
back.
Wait
for it. I think we're back?
I'm going to wait for chat to confirm that we're back.
Chat, are we back?
Chat, that was good. Chat, we're back.
Yeah, all right. Chat, what was the last thing we said?
Yeah, well, where did we stop? Let's start with where we stopped.
What was the last thing we said? Because we were making a very extended joke, and if we cut off in the middle of it, we're going to have to apologize a lot.
Yeah. We'll have to go. Yeah, that would be pretty awful.
Okay, Tau tattoo.
At tattoo, perfect.
Woo!
Oh, this is all right.
Could not have been timed better.
All right, apologize. I don't. The whole internet died in the room.
Thank you.
Don't know why. So
thank you very much.
That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to hide our faces, and we're going to resume as if this never happened.
Yes.
Thank you all. Okay, so. Let me hide my face. Okay,
cool.
So this is
probably shouldn't play this up quite as much.
I'm going. We're still doing. Double down, Charles. Okay.
Tau Adair. She's awesome. She's a Jedi.
Okay.
She's badass.
The tattoo.
And the tattoo is the ancient symbol of the light side.
Okay. So if the stream breaks again, by the way, then we know that we should.
Please know that we're about to joke with you, so don't freak out.
Yes. Yes. If the stream breaks, we're making jokes. The next character, we want to see if you can help us.
Guess who it is.
Guess who it is. So it's a Sith character that has been around
since the beginning of the game.
The very beginning of the game. Their name starts with an M.
It does.
And it's how many letters long?
6 letters long.
Okay, so let's see if chat can help us. So if M is the first letter, what's the second letter?
I've seen some. I think some people are getting that it's the second letter might be A.
The second letter is A. Okay. And what is the third letter then?
What do you think the third letter is?
Okay, so we got it. Okay, there's the A's.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the third letter?
Let's see. Let's wait.
L's.
L.
Okay. I think they probably got it right.
They're pretty close. Let's see.
It's
Melora.
Darth Melora.
Yes,
you
that's
guys
right.
Nailed it. I want to give you. Hey, let me put our face back up.
Yes.
Nice work.
Well
nice
done.
Work,
Well
nice
done,
work,
stream.
guys. Nice work.
So for anyone who actually does remember who Melora is,
who
or who doesn't,
so who is Darth? So who is Darth Melora?
Melora was a minor character in a side mission on Korriban called Dark Science, I believe. We originally called it Brains of the Beast, so if I slip and call it that, I apologize.
Yeah.
Melora, much like the player, has had a long and storied career since her days on Korriban.
Yep.
And has now risen to a position on the Dark Council.
I like someone put in all caps, oh my god, that lady on Korriban. But you guys guessed it.
You did.
You got it.
So she is now on the Dark Council. Her specialty is biotic science, which is why she looks a little different than the last time you saw her.
Yep.
She likes to experiment with biology and Sith alchemy and all that fun stuff.
Love it.
And that might be a big part of what she's doing on Ossus and how she plans to annihilate the Jedi as best she can.
Also, can I just say as a personal note, thank you for playing along.
Yes.
We've been excited
Please
to make
don't
this
hate
joke for days. Days.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Who's next?
Okay. The problem is now all of you are saying the stream died because I think... Oh, wait. Or did it actually die?
No! Wait, we're back. Wait.
Matt, watch the table.
Okay.
Because you're shaking the camera. There it is. It's back.
It's okay. They can't see us on the camera right now anyway.
It's back. Yep.
We're good. Okay. Let's keep it going.
All right. Moving along.
Let's keep it going. Another new character. This is General Daerun.
Yep.
He is a Republic infantry general in command of the... shoot. I would blank on it right now.
Right now.
All the time.
It's because the stream is messing with your head.
Anyway, he's an important Republic general. He's going to be recruiting Republic players to go and help the Jedi.
Yep.
He, you may have noticed, is a new species that we've shown a few times but never gotten to really get into. He is a Krex. So he's our first speaking Krex character. We'll get to know a little bit more about him.
Love it.
Let's keep it going. Another new character. This was one that was mentioned, and I saw a lot of theorizing about in the roadmap. This is Major Anri. She is an Imperial Special Forces commando, and that's kind of one of her fellow commandos there. Gets to bring some backup. Anri, obviously, as a Twi'lek and a fairly high-ranking officer, so kind of showing the progress within the Empire, how that's been changing over time. And she is really cool.
Love it.
One of my favorites.
One more.
And... so excited. It's finally happening.
Let me make sure the stream is actually... The stream's fine. You're good.
It's fine. Your boy and mine.
Yeah, correct.
Jedi Master Nos Daral.
That's right.
He's coming back.
So
for his first appearance in the actual game.
That's right. So you may be familiar with him from such movie and TV shows as our Journals of Nos Daral, which came with the Collector's Edition. The Timeline series that was released pre-launch. Those were all Nos Daral.
Yeah. So, finally appearing in person, in the flesh. It is, in fact, Nos Daral, who is in charge of the Jedi Colony, who sort of formulated the idea for it and has been developing it all these years.
Yep. So, that rounds us out on our key art.
I mean, there's one more person in there. I don't know, though, really. It's hard to tell who that is. So
I
don't know. Maybe we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that's probably important.
We'll see who that person is.
Yep, I guess we
Probably
will.
someone cool.
I guess we will. And there you go. So that is going to be our new loading screen as of Game Update 5.10. It's what we call our key art, which is the art associated with the update. So, and I know someone's going to ask, so we'll make sure that we get this art somewhere on the website for you. I think it'll be updated on the website tomorrow. I think is when that'll all be updated. So we'll make sure that we get this out to you as well. So
just remembering, someone mentioned Jonas Balkar.
Oh yeah, Jonas Balkar.
Yes. So when you begin the kind of choice line that makes you either a saboteur or a loyalist, you will get a contact either within your own faction or with the opposite faction. If your contact is from the Republic, they are Jonas Balkar.
There you go.
If your contact is from the Empire, they are 2VR8, who you may remember from the Black Talon Flashpoint.
Love it. Old 2V.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we can bring our faces back now.
Hello. We're back.
Love it. All right.
Sweet.
Here we go. Let's keep cruising. We're almost there.
We're so close. We're close to the
there.
finish line.
That's
It's
it.
coming. Here's the names of the characters you just saw.
We are.
Out, so you can spell them.
Right, because we knew that there would be a lot of questions about like how to spell everything that we just talked about. So feel free to take a screenshot of those, especially you influencers and fan sites out there. If you want to know how to actually spell any of those names.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said 2VR8. Oh, wait. No.
Oh, no. That's the ship droid.
Oh, my God. How did I mess that up?
It's been a long day. What is his actual name?
crazy.
But I know who you're talking about. It's the ship. Yes, because the 2V is the ship droid.
Yeah.
So it's not the ship droid.
Oh my gosh,
Someone's going to know this.
NRO2. Yes.
You mean
specializes in calumniation.
NRO2?
Yes, NRO2. Thank you, chat. I sincerely apologize for that.
It's
NRO2. That is a terrible mistake to make. NRO2. Your favorite, maybe not your favorite murderous droid, because we got a lot of them, but we do have some people's favorite.
We do a few. Anyway, so those are the characters that you saw. There's a recap of them, so you can know that who Darth Malora is.
Yes. Cool.
And when is it coming, Charles?
Hey,
let me move our faces again.
Yeah. Jedi Under Siege, update 5.10. It's coming in December.
We'll give you a more accurate date as we get closer. Again, with all things, we want to get it on PTS. Make sure you get a chance to play it, but you're only a month and a half, a couple of months away from being able to play it. So, and again, it'll be on PTS very soon.
I did see one question that I think is a good one to go ahead and answer now.
Yeah.
Are these characters companions? In fact, none of these characters are being introduced as ongoing companions as part of this story. And I'm speaking about the new characters here, obviously. Nadia, Doc, returning characters, they will come back as companions. They will be companions during the storyline, so you will have them as temporary companions. And we may introduce them later as full companions, depending on what y'all like and what you don't, and where the story goes and whether it makes sense. But I felt like we kind of got an awful lot of companions right now. We're still trying to return a bunch, so I didn't want to fill that roster out too much more yet. And honestly, as part of the storyline, it didn't feel like it quite fit for them to join you up quite yet.
All right, let me get our faces back. So let's talk PTS, because there's been a lot of questions about it. So again, potentially tomorrow if things go well. If not, very early next week, you'll be able to. I put Master Mode, but theoretically it's also all of Gods from the Machine. So the changes to Veteran, if you want to get on there and mess with story, and Master Mode. Matt, a question came up earlier about the Nightmare Crystal and what happens with it for Gods.
Yes.
Here, Matt's gonna wheel in.
Right now, nothing. There was also a question about the new gear tiers being available on vendors on PTS. The answer to both of those is not immediately. It's possible a couple refreshes into PTS, we might start to put the higher tier gears on there to see how the encounters play with those gear tiers, because that's also important information. But to start, we didn't want to have the gear there. We wanted to, because if we put the gear there, nobody would play with 248s. Let's be honest. So we need 248 data, then we can get 252 data, and maybe 258 data. The Nightmare Crystal will not work just arbitrarily. You'll get an error message, it'll tell you not here, if you try and use it in Nightmare Gods from the Machine. I don't know how long it will be turned off. That's going to be more of a feel thing. But the answer is not, you will not immediately right out the bat be able to use the Nightmare Crystal in Nightmare Gods.
Cool. All right, and we will
keep calling it Nightmare.
And we'll let you know when and if that changes. So what's going to be coming later on PTS? So the daily area, PvP challenge mode, and all of the guild stuff, and that includes conquests. All that stuff will be changing, and that's going to happen over the next whole bunch of weeks. Ideally, we will make one update to PTS every 1 to 2 weeks going forward once it actually comes online. So if we bring it up this week, either next week or the week after, we'll do an update and some of this content will come online, and we'll make sure to give you specifics on what's available and what's not. So you'll know that. What is never going to be on PTS? The storyline. The story. Sorry. We don't want you to, we want you to experience it in its full, final, finished form later. Okay. Let's see. It's giveaway time.
Hey!
We've arrived.
Who wants some free stuff?
Who wants free stuff? Okay, so let me explain what's on the screen. So first off, I didn't change the code here. That code's wrong.
Don't do that code.
Don't listen to that code.
Take out the TOR part.
It's SW Cantina 2018. The code changed this morning.
Keith will spam it in chat.
That's my bad. That's what that is.
Yes.
So here's what we're going to be giving away. So first off, the Dreadseed weapon tuning is amazing.
It's very cool. Very creepy, kind of in tune with the Halloween vibe.
That's right.
I've seen a lot of people asking, hey, are we going to do some Halloween stuff? We wanted to do a little bit of Halloween-themed stuff.
Keith is literally spamming it in chat. Thanks, Keith.
Don't get yourself banned, Keith.
Yep, yeah, please don't get yourself banned. And then the other thing is the Merciless Seeker armor set.
Yes, which, again, Tales of the Jedi fans may recognize as an early Mandalorian Crusader style armor.
Yep, I think it's fair. I think we've now clipped to like second. Rindax said, holy shit, that armor, and I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty sweet.
So that armor, both of these items are going to be available on the cartel market later this month. But we're going to give them both away to you. And actually, I could actually give you the weapon tuning right now. Like I could literally go give it to your character today because it's already in the game.
Yeah.
The armor we can't because it's not coming in until a patch that we're having in another week or so. But one other thing of note, and it's already on the bullets, you can read it. The Merciless Seeker armor set is also going to be an addition that's going to drop off of the eyeless in the Rakul Plague event going forward.
Yep.
So the next time it runs, which I think it's going to run the week of Halloween.
Yeah.
I think. Starting that week, there's a rare chance that the Merciless Seeker armor set will drop off of the eyeless. So you'll not be able to get that in game as well.
Right.
For $0. Just work. Just effort. So we'll do a giveaway.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how we're going to do the giveaway.
What should our giveaway be? What should our
giveaway?
What should our keyword?
Our keyword for the giveaway be? Melora. I think it's Melora.
Yeah, let's give Melora some love.
Melora is the star of the show, so I think it has to be Melora. So please type the word Melora
into chat.
And
we'll pick a lucky winner.
And we're going to do one winner.
One lucky winner gets all of this?
Yes, you will get all of it.
That is a very lucky winner.
You get all of it. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I thought about doing this before. I'm going to spice it up. Because we didn't talk about it that much earlier, which is we're going to give away the weapon tuning and the armor set, and we'll send you a t-shirt. Which we didn't even explain what this was, because we got derailed. So it has the...
Orabesh, that's Jedi Under Siege.
It has the flare.
Yeah.
And it says Jedi Under Siege in Arabesh.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna give that away.
That's spicy Melora. I like it.
All right, here we go.
Who's our random winner?
Vizmanis.
Vizmanis.
I'm gonna type your name into chat so that
you are the lucky winner.
You are the lucky winner. Let me open this so that I actually remember to send you a message. So it is Vizmanis.
You are the lucky winner.
You are the lucky winner. So I will reach out to you, and if you don't hear from me, please reach out to the official SWTOR channel on Twitch and let us know the information that I will need, but I will get it from you. Is I need to know your account name, the character, and the server where you want your items sent, and then I'll work on getting other information so we can get your shirt.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for saying rigged, because I love every contest being rigged. That's the best. Cool. Okay.
All right.
We're almost done.
Yeah, I think.
And again, just to reiterate, both of these will be for sale on the cartel market. The weapon tuning is cool because when you holster your weapon, the dread seed gets larger, and then when you pull it out, it actually gets smaller, and it has that vision. That has that the tuning has the VFX on your entire character.
If you click the screen, it'll
let me actually play the GIF again, so you can see the VFX actually fires on your whole character, which is something completely new that we're doing. So
get you looking real freaky.
Yep.
Time for real spooky in time for Halloween.
Spooky town time. My voice is falling apart.
Poor Musco. He's been powering through this.
It's great. Okay.
He's been ill.
Let's do a recap.
Press F to pay respects.
That's right. That's going to make my lifetime right there. That's what I need, Charles. That's what I need. Okay.
All right.
Let's recap. So, Master Mode Gods from the Machine. Also changes coming to Veteran. So if you couldn't complete Veteran before, that'll be coming for you in 5.10 along with Master Mode so that you can actually complete it.
Look at all that respect.
Thank you.
So nice.
The respect is... thank you. I literally can't even. Masterwork armor, what we've called tier 5 before. Again, it's not a full tier.
I can talk through this if you're... Yeah. We got guild improvements.
You do. I'll drink some water.
PvP challenges. You can challenge each other to guild or pick up group matches. General guild improvements we talked about. Guild leveling, guild perks. Improvements to Conquest in general.
Yep. One thing I want to reiterate, I saw someone asking a bunch of questions about Heraldry. Just a reminder, Heraldry is not coming in 5.10 any longer.
We had to pull that out. It wasn't quite going to be there yet, but it is still on the list. It's still in the works. We plan to put it out later release.
Yeah, so actually it's this person. They just asked, will we be able to run on the PvP battlefield with our Heraldry? Again, we'll talk about Heraldry when it's coming, which is not in 5.10.
Yes.
But we'll get to that later.
Yes. We've got a new daily area on Ossus. That daily area has repeatable missions as usual. Those will become available after you complete the new storyline, which is also on Ossus, and has separate storylines, separate missions for the Republic and the Empire.
Yep.
New and returning characters. We've got several companions coming back. Doc, Jaisa, both versions of Jaisa.
Yep.
Nadia, Kimval, if Kimval's still alive.
One question that I've seen come up quite a few times is, does that mean we will allow same-gender romances for previous companions, the ones that have already been released, that have already returned?
Yes. So We don't have any that are like literally being worked on at this exact second, but in principle, yes.
Yes.
If we can find a chance to bring them back into the story in an interesting way, and offer that opportunity, you definitely want to because
So to be clear, as of 5.10, the answer is no. You will not
not in this update.
Outside of those 3 companions that we mentioned here. Older companions, so like Mako as an example, you would not be able to have a same gender romance with Mako right now.
Yeah.
But we would love to do that in the future.
Absolutely.
This is just us showing you that we want to go down that road.
Yes. Like I said, new storyline, new returning characters, returning companions, PTS coming up hopefully tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. But
keep your eyes on the forums. We'll probably maybe put something in the launcher or on social, but definitely look for the forums. We'll let you know if PTS is going to come up tomorrow. We probably won't know till midday or later in the day, so I apologize for those of you in Europe, which if you're still awake, first off, thank you. But we probably won't know that till later in the day, but we'll let you know. If not, like I said, it'll be early next week. And it'll just be Master Mode and Veteran Gods from the Machine.
Yep. And upcoming blogs. We got some blogs coming.
Yep. Between now and December, there's going to be a whole bunch of blogs. Because there's still even more details to give you about each individual thing, about how it works, and show you. We haven't shown you any screenshots of what the new UI looks like and some of that stuff. So as that stuff gets further in development and we have more details to share, all that stuff will be put in blogs. We're going to do some story blogs or a story blog.
Yes, I saw people asking about it in chat. I did, in fact, say that I would create a new State of the Galaxy story blog, and I also mentioned that would be coming a little bit closer to the update.
Yep.
The reason I didn't say when it was coming was because we had not, in fact, announced when the update was coming. So now that you know when the update's coming, you can expect that to come before the update.
Probably in November, late November would be my guess. But and then reminder, 7th year anniversary is right around the corner.
Yes, can you believe it? 7 years.
December 20th?
Yeah.
December 20th.
Yeah, that's right.
7-year anniversary.
Yep.
Madness.
Is the same person voicing Jaisa? Yes. That is correct.
Yep.
She's a very friendly person.
All right. So, we talked about it before, but don't go anywhere. There's still more great Star Wars The Old Republic content. We're going to host Peter the Cellcath, SWTOR Central. He's going to be doing, I don't know, he was going to do ops. I don't even remember anymore. It was so long ago. But we're going to host him, so stay tuned. Don't leave the stream, because he has giveaways as well. Yeah. I gave him a whole bunch of codes for cartel coins, subcodes. I know he's going to give away at least one cartel market item that anyone wants. So stick around. You'll have to go to his chat, but we'll host him right after. And the last thing we'll leave you with, we have one more thing, which is just a cool version of the key.
Yeah. Somewhat animated.
So we hit 90 minutes on the dot.
Wow.
On the dot.
I'm pretty impressed with us, actually.
Me too.
If I'm honest.
Me too. Is there anything else?
Some last questions. We'll take a quick scan for just a minute.
Yep.
And then we'll let our friends get on home.
Yep.
Arkin gear customization, not yet. That's because Arkin has crazy cyborg parts. It makes customizing his gear much more complicated. But we have seen that request quite a bit.
I saw a bunch of questions about Paxton and the Royal Tauntaun. So we'll see. They were, full disclosure, we've been working with potentially doing something with Twitch in the future. And so you may see them as part of a Twitch promotion in the future, or not.
Or perhaps some other kind of promotion.
Or a sub reward, or something else. So right now we're just holding on to them. They're definitely something that we want to use as a promotional item at some point. Just don't know for what yet. But you'll see them eventually. Promise. I know it's driving some of you crazy that it's sitting in collections, the Tauntaun. You can't do anything with it. As a mount collector, I understand. But yeah.
Yep.
Oh, do you want to answer Kira? You answered it.
Kira Scourge always comes up. Yep. I know they're very highly requested. I have some very particular things I want to do with Kira and Scourge.
Yep.
So I will share that information as soon as I feel like it is responsible to do so.
Yep. All right. So again, this was all about 5.10. The intention is that you will see a lot of it start to roll out onto PTS. It's going to come out in December. We know that all of you are going to be clamoring for what comes after 5.10. You still got a couple months before we get to that point. But our ideal, we'll probably try to put out another roadmap toward the end of the year or early next year, and let you know what's coming after that, because we have a lot of really cool stuff that we still can't even talk to you about yet. That's coming next year. So, I forgot to say the words Kefis. So Kefis, Kefis, Kazik, and Kefis.
Kefis is in the back in that picture. It's Kefis.
That's not true. Or is it true?
Sounds like something you'd say if you were a Kefis follower.
Yeah. There should be a cult of Kefis that should work.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Let's do it.
I'm going to flip it over to, I'm going to hide our faces. I'm going to mute us. I'm going to flip it over to the key art. I'm going to let that play for a minute or so, and then I'm going to host, SWTOR Central. So,
yeah. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. If you've been through this whole stream,
Here, squeeze in, Matt.
Yeah, come on in.
Get on
Matt.
in here.
If you've been with us the whole time, thank you, because 90 minutes is a really long time to watch a live stream, and hopefully this is. I know there was